All right, hey Violas. So we are going to be going now on to steps 5 and 6. Well, mostly this is for step 5, which is to identify the whole steps and half steps in your scale. Now let's remember that major scale pattern that is the 1, 2, 3 half step 4, 5, 6, 7 half step 8. Okay, so whoops. Let's use, I'm gonna use green for those scale degrees. And so those scale degrees, this is the part that makes it really cool and it helps you to know what your finger pattern is going to be. So let's write our scale degrees. The first note of our scale is 1, and then we just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now when we get up to this, so we started with C, right? And we're gonna, our middle note is also a C. So that's the top of the octave. When you get to that 8th note and you wanna start another octave, this becomes 1. So let's start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, remember we're not going to use that note for our scale. It starts on C and ends on C. Alrighty then. Okay, so it starts on C and ends on C. Right there. That's important to remember. You don't want to go over your scale when you're playing. Now, let's go. I like to use red for my half step indicators. And remember how we learned that major scale pattern? Where are your half steps? Between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. Okay? So just go along and find your 3 and 4 and your 7 and 8 and put your half step indicators in there. Okay? Now, all we have to do is think about this and just kind of check our work and make sure that it's real. There really is a half step. Okay? So we have between our 3 and 4, it's E and F. And I bet you, whoops, holy cow, that was a weird thing. E, F, there. So is there really a half step between E and F? Remember that big piano keyboard up at the front of the room? That was one of those naturally occurring half steps. So that's really cool. Your scale that you have is the exact one with no sharps or flats, just like we were studying on that piano keyboard. It's very easy to envision. So your half step is between E and F and B and C. Same thing as the piano keyboard. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so let's write it in over here, E, F, and B and C. So now we have our half steps written in on our scale. Everything else is a whole step. So I'm not even gonna mess this up, mess up the paper by putting whole step things, because we just need to know where our half steps are. Okay, so that's step 5. Now the next thing that you guys would do, what I want you to try and do is to write your finger pattern. So now remember the green ones that we have here, this is your scale degrees. Okay? And that's always going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for a scale, because there's 8 notes in an octave. Your finger pattern is telling you which one of your fingers to actually put on your strings at what time. So I'm just going to give you a couple of hints on this, and then I want you to try and fill in the rest of it on your own. Let me, I'm going to kind of erase, I think I'm going to try and erase this purple line just so it doesn't look super messy. There. Okay. And then, so we'll start this. So this is the part where I really hope it doesn't get confusing, because here you're going to put your finger pattern, okay? So C is open C. That's your lowest string. The purpose of this is to be able to do a 2-octave scale starting on your lowest string open. Okay? And then do you remember that day when we did open 1, 2, 3, open 1, 2, 3? Okay, and you talked about each one of your strings. You play open 1, 2, 3, open 1, 2, 3. That's pretty much what you're going to do here. The thing that we're really keying in on is the half steps. So you're going to fill in the blanks on your own paper, your own PDF or whatever. Open 1, 2, 3, probably open 1, 2, and then I'll give you that. This is your 3rd finger, and that's 3 on the G string. That's a little hint. And then when you start your scale over with this note right here, that's going to be like the end of your first octave and the beginning of your second octave. So now you're going to start with 3, open, 1, 2, 3, open, 1, 2. And I want you guys to write those in. Now, you're going to have to pay very special attention to where your your half steps are, like these, remember? Okay, because we have this interesting thing for our, oh my goodness, it's getting a little late. Let's see. Remember how we did the half step and whole steps with our fingers, the pictures? So you might have your fingers in a whole step, like far apart, okay? That'd be like a whole step. And your fingers might be close to each other, really close. This is like your two fingers really close, almost practically touching. So that would be like a half. This is supposed to be an H. Half step. Okay, so that's what I mean by your finger pattern. Which fingers are close to each other? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, whatever. Okay, so give that a try. Take about 30 seconds to write it in, what you think. And then in the next video, you'll check your work. Okay, so go to your own PDF and write down your finger pattern.